Welcome, and thank you for attending this webinar. My name is John Pelosa. I'm a product manager with Temperature Equipment Corporation. Today we're going to be talking about duct-free splits and a little bit about VRF as well, which will be the subject of another webinar next month. Duct-free systems are an exciting growth opportunity. This is a well-established market already in the Chicago area. It's an ongoing change in the industry, and the product is accepted by owners, engineers, and contractors in the Chicago area. We have an expanded product line that we'll be talking about today, some improved sales tools, and we'll talk about a few success stories as well. Where can duct-free systems be used? Pretty much everywhere. It ranges from light commercial to residential to whole house solutions and up to some pretty strong commercial applications as well. This equipment blurs the line between residential and commercial markets, provides an entryway for residential contractors into commercial and vice versa. Heating can be a challenge, but heat pump technology is improving year by year. And with the product that we'll be talking about today, testing is currently taking place to achieve good heating performance down to minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit. This, of course, helps with whole house solutions. The applications that I've seen over the 4 to 5 years that I've been dealing with duct-free systems is wide. In the residential market, you have remodeled spaces, additions, sunrooms, basements, pretty much everything you can think of in an existing house and in new construction. You can see the wide range of applications in the commercial market that follow in the list. The only applications that I have not personally seen are military bases and prisons. I mentioned that this is a growing market. We've seen 2.5 times growth in this market since 2005 in the U.S. That's equivalent to about 20% per year. And this is somewhat understated, as Chinese manufacturers do not report to AHRI. There's currently about 300,000 systems installed in the U.S. Carrier is very strong in the commercial segment. For those applications that require long piping runs, we do have the ability to go up to 245 feet. And we have the unique ability to operate to minus 20 with some of our product here. While the rest of the industry has almost completely shifted to inverter-driven compressors, we see the need to have both options available to you. Inverter for high efficiency and comfort, and then fixed speed for those commercial applications that require cooling even in the middle of winter, and that would be our minus 20 Fahrenheit equipment. We have 28 inverter models that range from the 15 to 23 SEER level. Most of those are going to hover around the 17 SEER level or so, but very efficient equipment, as you can see. I mentioned the minus 20 low ambient operation equipment. This is a list of the accessories that are needed to achieve minus 20 degree low ambient operation. We have the low ambient control, the crankcase heater, winter start kits, isolation relays, and wind baffles. This chart can be downloaded for your use from HVAC partners. This is a sample list with performance data, electrical data, and so on from HVAC partners as well. Carrier is unique in having these two units, the ceiling suspended and the ceiling cassette. And as you can see in the second bar in each of these sections, we have electric heat as an option as well. This is the residential ductless lineup. We have the RAS or the RAS, which is an inverter-driven outdoor unit with 20 plus SEER ratings. We range from 9 to 22,000 BTUs and have standard ambient operation down to 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It's moderately priced, and this comes in heat pumps only. In the GV product line, we have a couple of new units. Used to go only up to about 24,000 BTUs. Now we have 2.5 ton and 3 ton high wall units as well. Standard ambient operation, and it's a value price model. The MV is our fixed speed product, and this is more of a commercial oriented product line. Gives you capacity from 9 to 24,000 BTUs. Also offers low ambient operation down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the lowest priced system that we have, and it comes in both cooling and heating. Going back up to the RAS for a second, that competes with the Mitsubishi M series. Just a good basic solid system at a reasonable price. The GV line is fairly new, comes in both heat pump and cooling only. We also have two sizes that come in 115 single phase voltage, the 9,000 and the 12,000 BTU models. And then the rest of the line, 12,000 through 3 tons, is offered in 208, 230 single phase. These units, as with most ductless splits, the indoor unit is powered from the outdoor unit. So in other words, you do need to, of course, provide a disconnect for the outdoor unit, and then you run 4-conductor, 14-gauge stranded wire from the outdoor unit to the indoor unit that carries both primary power to the indoor unit and communications. The GVM series is new for 2013. This replaces the GXM, which was a multi-zone system, but it was fixed capacity, and now we have inverter controlled compressors in this product line. You can connect up from 2 to 5 indoor units and up to 130% capacity. So in other words, on the 3-ton unit, you can attach capacity of indoor units up to about 39,000 BTUs. Another new development for 2013 is a GVM with additional indoor units. We have the high walls, ducted, and we have ceiling cassettes as well. You'll be able to mix and match these different types of indoor units, again with that 130% indoor connected capacity. I apologize for the piping. It just didn't work this time, but it is piped much like the system I showed before. I'll go back to that for a second. We have 5 sets of ports there on the outdoor unit on the left, and you must pipe home run to each of those indoor units. And there it goes, sorry. In the commercial line, we have the 40QN, the 40KM, and the 40QA. Those 2 units on the right, as noted there, do have supplemental electric heat, so you can use those both for cooling and heating here in the Chicago area. All these units can operate down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. On units 36,000 BTUs and above, 3 tons through 5 tons, those do come in 3-phase voltage. These must be independently wired. That is, the outdoor unit has to have its own separate power supply, as does the indoor unit. We can do, again, for commercial applications where it's needed, we can do long line set runs up to 200 feet on some of these models. Check with TEC for support on that piping issue. Of note, the 40 km, that ceiling cassette that you see up in the middle, that is being phased out. So we do have good inventory for that unit. So if you need that, please get them while you can. We will eventually run out of those, but we will support it parts-wise and tech support-wise as well. Another advantage of the Carrier ductless split systems is that it's easier to integrate into our Carrier controls platform. Going to some installation tips. Outdoor units should be mounted level and on a solid surface. Proper clearance, you can see that we have 12 inches in between units and pretty much 12 inches all the way around. One thing to be careful about here, any heat pump unit will go into defrost cycle in the heating mode during the winter. That will create condensate, which may drain onto this walkway here. So be careful where you locate it so you don't create a slick spot that might be a hazard for pedestrians. Leave plenty of open space in front of the discharge of the condenser unit, and it should operate just fine. Be careful about how you install these units. Here's an improper installation of the outdoor units. As you can see, the airflow from an outdoor air louver, an exhaust louver, is feeding into that unit closest to the wall, and then the air from that unit feeds into the next one to the left and to the final one on the left. This is a real job situation. Those units had to be rotated 90 degrees to assure proper airflow. So pay attention to those details, think these things through, and read the instructions. Pretty simple stuff, but people do make mistakes. Don't do things like this. I see things like this in the city on occasion. Just not a good idea. And if the inspectors don't get you, time and the elements will start degrading performance of these units. Installation of the indoor units. Allow proper clearance. You should allow about 6 inches all the way around the unit to provide proper airflow on the supply side and the return side. These units have louvers on the bottom, and that's where the air comes out, of course, but they also return on the top. So you have to have unobstructed clearance on the top to get to those return air grills that you see there on the top of this cabinet. Again, another real job where the contractor or the owner decided to put it in there. It was a problem job that had to be fixed. It voided the warranty. Again, just read the instructions. These things are pretty easy to install, but you do have to sometimes say no to the customer. So a location where there's no obstacles near the air inlet or outlet. And where you have easy access for service, and also these they're called high walls because they must be mounted relatively high up on the wall, at least 5 to 6 feet off the floor. There's a number of tools that we have available for you. We have ductless selection software. You can plug your performance data into here and generate drawings, submittals, and so on from HVAC partners. Right now, this is a work in progress. They're trying to do all the systems. So right now, results are pretty sketchy coming out of this program. Eventually, it will be filled out and will provide good documentation for your jobs, including performance data, electrical data, and drawings. We also have a cross-reference program in HVAC Partners. This, you can plug in your competitive model numbers, be it Mitsubishi, LG, Fujitsu, what have you, and it will provide appropriate carrier matches, side-by-side comparisons of performance, dimensions, sound data, operating range, and electrical piping and piping. As I mentioned, there's many successful applications of this product throughout the Chicago area. Retail settings, which may be a mix of both duct-free splits and your typical rooftop units as well. Convenience stores, high schools, we see a lot of these used in educational settings, university settings, high schools, elementary schools, just everywhere you can think of. I mentioned that I was going to cover duct-free systems a little bit today. I just want to give a little introduction. This is the next step from duct-free splits. Duct-free splits, as you know, are typically one-on-one units, one outdoor unit and one indoor unit. And then you have your multi-zone units, which have multiple ports on the outdoor unit. VRF is different in that the piping is two pipe, typically for a straight heat pump system, and it goes to the appropriate number of indoor units of the appropriate capacity, tonnage-wise. Next step to VFR, again, there's the outdoor units on the right side. Those come in 6, 8, and 10-ton sizes. They provide great comfort. They give individual space control. Great design flexibility. There's different piping options that are available on Toshiba carrier equipment that nobody else has. The condensing units here are shown. These are two twinned units. They don't have to be located right next to each other. You can spread those out some. And typically there's no ductwork with these systems, although that is an option. Energy efficiency is very good with these systems. You get great zoning with this. This is probably the best zoning you can get because you just deliver the amount of refrigerant to the unit that's needed to carry the heat away or deliver heat as needed in cooling and heating mode respectively. Another way that we achieve great energy efficiency is in part load situations with all the compressors in these units being inverter controlled. They ramp up to their most optimal operating level and operate there, providing the greatest efficiency, quiet comfort as well. And it can be a very cost-effective installation because the indoor units are lightweight. The outdoor units are of course, pretty heavy, but the indoor units are relatively light, consisting of high-wall units, ceiling cassettes, smaller ductable units, and ceilings suspended. Global VRF sales have increased dramatically over the past 10 years in the U.S. and worldwide. 4 times growth in the past year, and it's newer technology in the U.S., so we're not quite as far along. They've had this in Asia and Europe for 15 years to 20 years, and it's just been in the U.S. about 10 years now, but yet we do see great growth in this. The growth has been most dramatic in education, in the educational sector, and that's an area where we might see a little bit of a slowdown because, well, frankly, schools have been built up over the past couple of years with all the tax dollars going after it, and some of those dollars are drying up. But the other sectors, office, public sector, health facilities, amusement, multifamily properties, and others, there's a lot of opportunity there for growth in those sectors as well. Up till now, I just talked about the heat pump version of this. That is, it's in straight heating or cooling, depending on what's called for. In about 2 weeks, we'll start seeing the product come into the U.S. Called the heat recovery system at the end of this month. As with the straight heat pump, we have outdoor units and we have indoor units, and those come in 6, 8, and 10-ton units, and those can be combined in 12, 14, 16, and 20-ton capacities. The indoor units, we see the variety there. We have the high walls, the ceiling cassettes, both in 2x2 size and about a 3x3 size, ceiling suspended, and the ductable units. That's 7 fan coil types, 41 unique models, and they come from 7,000 BTUs. That would be the high wall unit on the upper left, all the way up to 4 tons with that largest ducted unit on the right. We call it heat recovery because this can take heat from one area that's in the cooling mode and deliver that heat, if needed, to other areas of the building. So instead of rejecting the heat outside, we reject it inside and recover that heat and save energy at the same time. The Toshiba Carrier product also shares the advantage of being easily integrated into the Carrier controls platform in existence now that, of course, many contractors and, of course, TEC is familiar with. We have a question here. What will replace a 40 km? I'm glad you brought that question up. This is going back to the 40 km that went away. That's a ceiling cassette that can operate to minus 20 degrees F. That is going to be replaced by the RAV, which is a Toshiba product, and they are testing that down to minus 13 degrees. Competitive advantages of the Toshiba Carrier VRF. We have multiple inverter compressors. Some of our competitors have a digital scroll or an inverter plus a fixed speed or just a single inverter. All our units have 3 inverter compressors, and they're programmed to run in their most efficient mode. So in that, the sweet spot for these compressors is about 80% full capacity. So if the zones calling for cooling or heating require only one compressor to run at about 80%, it will run to that level. And then additional compressors will be brought on as needed. That provides better part load performance, gives you better backup capability, and more efficient operation. The response of the compressors to calls for heating or cooling is very quick and in very small increments. This gives you nice, quiet ramp up of the compressor, so it's very quiet heat, a very quiet cooling. We also have piping flexibility that none of our competitors can offer. We can branch off of header joints down there below on the left, as you see, which provides easier access to perhaps larger zones. And then you can also branch a header off of a header. Nobody else can do this right now. We also have VRF selection software, easy to use. We'll provide that at no cost to our customers. This allows you to select equipment, both indoor units and outdoor units, and get the results that you need in terms of performance, electrical data, certified drawings. We also have CAD files so you can plug into drawings, and then it also calculates the piping requirements for you and for additional R410A as needed. It also creates Revit files. And equipment schedules as well for cut and paste into plan drawings. It also gives you wiring schematics for electrical requirements for the systems you create, and piping schematics. And also a complete drawing of the piping and the control wiring. We have available programs and promotion for both the duct-free splits and the VRF. And so this is a great business opportunity to take advantage of. You have your growth potential, a much expanded product lineup. We have local inventory for both the duct-free splits and very close location for the VRF product. And we have sales tools and support. In the August webinar that I'll be doing, I'll be getting into the VRF product, explaining the product operation in great detail, system design, software operation, equipment operation as well. And that's it. A little bit short today on time, but I hope this was helpful. Please contact me if I can help you. You can also type in questions right now, but I'll hang on for another 15 minutes or so. Thank you for your time. We got another question here. Where does one find the VRF selection software? That is available on HVAC Partners, or contact me at TEC to get that software.